Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Formula Regional Middle East Championship 2025, certified by FIA. It's the last day of the season in the United Arab Emirates, here on the home of champions, the Marina circuit. We've got two races over the course of today, and we're going to start with race 2 of round 4. That's the reverse grid race, and that means that pole position for this one is going to go to the very talented Akshay Bora of RSGP. After the bad luck he suffered in qualifying that will see him start at the back of the grid for race 3, he'll want to maximise his pole position for this reverse grid race. With this being the final race of the season in the United Arab Emirates, the final day of the season in the United Arab Emirates, I want to give a massive shout out to all of the incredible team here from the Emirates Motorsports organisation. They've been looking after us in fantastic fashion all the way through from the start of the season, and these fantastic men and women who have been giving their time voluntarily to make sure that we run in fantastic fashion out on the course. It's amazing. We cannot do any of these races without them, and they really have given us an incredible season and kept us safe and sound. The man himself there, the Sheriff, Imran, keeping an eye on things right up at the sharp end of the field. So what can we expect from the race today? Well, it's a little bit cooler this morning than it was same time 24 hours ago, but it's certainly going to be an interesting race with all of the drivers trying to find their feet out on the course. Come with me, let's see if we can have a chat with the man who makes it all happen out here on the course. The man himself, he shot the Sheriff, but he's taken his position. Here he is, there's no deputy on this grid. Imran, how are you and the team looking ahead of race number 2?
Yeah, well, good morning. Again, it's the last day of the ALMS series with the FR and F4, and these series are growing. You can see number of cars are growing, our team is increasing, and we are having a fun. It's a new driver, rookie drivers, and everything is going very, very smoothly now. Hoping the coming season, I want full grid here with all the cars, and you guys are doing an amazing job. And your commentary is pompous.
Oh, bless you. Thank you so much, Imran. We couldn't race this without you. Your men and women on the team have been absolutely fantastic from the start. No injuries over the course of this season. You guys have kept us very safe.
Thank you very much. This is our job. Safety is our prime motto. So we make sure everybody is safe on the grid, off the grid, on the garage, drivers, everyone is safe. You safe.
We're so grateful, Imran. Thank you.
Thanks.
Excellent stuff. So the drivers and the cars are just making their way through pit lane now at the end of their first reconnaissance lap. Then they'll bring the cars right here onto the starting grid and line up for position. So while they're doing that, we'll give you a few more clips from the previous rounds of the championship, but we're also going to catch up with one of the new recruits for this weekend. Back in at Santalok Racing in the Formula Regional Middle East paddock, it's an old friend, Nikita Bedrin. Nikita Bedrin, it's great to see you back in the Middle East once again, stepping up into Formula Regional with the Santalok Racing team. Only 2 rounds in the championship for you. I guess that must be kind of tactical with your race program this year.
I mean, I still don't even know if I'm doing the last one yet, but it was quite a last-minute call to come here. Got it on Tuesday morning. Before that, didn't know I was racing, so yeah, it's amazing to be here, amazing to be back. It's been a good day of testing yesterday, qualifying today. Let's hope for some good results.
Yeah, in testing you were actually pretty fast, so it's almost like you've never been away from the Marina circuit. You had a lot of experience here in the past in F4, jumping into Formula Regional. It must be a little bit of a different experience.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but considering what career I've had, I'm quite quick to adapt from one car to another, and it didn't take me a long time. So yeah, we've seemed to have quite positive pace. Hopefully we can keep it for qualifying.
So working with the Santalot racing team, they've obviously been doing the first 3 rounds with Teofil Nal. A lot of useful data to carry into the season. It must be quite nice to jump into a car that you know you can push pretty quickly.
Yeah. I mean, they've done a good job so far the whole season, so I hope to do the same this week. I'm quite confident. They've had the speed in the past 3 rounds, so I'm quite confident I'll have it as well.
And the way that the Marina circuit layout is structured, very, very fast straights and long sweepers, some tight complexes, it actually kind of works to your driving style quite well. Is this a circuit that you feel quite at home at?
Yeah, this is actually one of my favorite circuits. I've won almost every year I've raced here. Last year in the 4, the year before in the same championship. So it quite suits me quite well, I would say. The corner combinations are quite unique, I would say, because I don't feel any other track that feels similar to this. Also, the grip of the track is quite nice. It's just also very good for fighting, like so many positive things I can say about the circuit.
So with only 3 races here at Marina to make an impact, what are your targets for this weekend?
I would say top 5. Top 5 is the goal.
And how achievable do you think that's going to be based on what you saw from the car and from yourself in the practice sessions? Do you think that there is a genuine chance of top 5 there?
For sure, considering that there is also a reversed race, I think that's a good thing if we are not so good in qualifying. We've been very quick yesterday. We've struggled more today. We see how qualifying goes, but I think for sure it's possible considering that I'm also good at racing.
Well, I'm sure all your fans are very happy to see you back here, and we'd love to see you on the podium. Good luck.
Thank you.
Plenty of overtaking opportunities, great battles to come, and for race 2 of the Marina circuits round of the championship, round 4 of the Formula Regional Middle East Championship certified by FIA. This is the last day of the season that we'll be racing in the United Arab Emirates. We've been here since January, of course, and now it's going to be a fascinating title run in the closing stages of this season. We're in for a really exciting showcase as the contenders will give us plenty to talk about. 88% humidity with high winds, a little bit warmer than yesterday as well, but the humidity is what's really going to kick in over the course of this final few stages of the season. But now we are ready for an exciting battle. In the championship fight, it's obviously still Evan Gilter who leads the way, 27 points clear of Freddie Slater. But this is the reverse grid race, so pole position goes to Akshay Bora, the Indian talent for RHGP. It'll be fascinating to see what he can do from pole position. He will take this opportunity with both hands, his sleeves rolled up, and he wants to grab his first Formula Regional victory. Can he get the job done? He's got the man we just heard from, Nikita Bedrin, lining up alongside him on the grid for Santalot after the great work that Teofil Nal did in the early part of the season, picking up 3 podium finishes in 3 weekends. Nikita Bedrin will want to get a 4th and maybe even a race victory. It's all good preparation for the main body of his motorsport season in Europe. A Red Bull at the front end of the field, no surprises there, and it's the young Mexican talent, Ernesto Rivera, for the Pinnacle Motorsport team, with that beautiful carbon helmet of his, deciding to go a very different way. He's cool, he's calm, he's collected, and his racecraft is getting better and better with every weekend that we take on. From Spanish F4 last year straight into the world of Formula Regional, it's been a tough one for him, that's for sure. There is the young Frenchman, Enzo Deligny, for the RHGP team. Could be a very interesting race for him. This is his best chance yet in 2025 of a Formula Regional Middle East race victory, and he'll want to take full advantage of the opportunity. Expect big things from him in this race. The championship contenders are coming through the field from lower back. Brando Badoa is actually the leading driver in the championship fight. 3rd position in the standings, 136 points, and still just about in touch with Evan Gilter and Freddie Slater in terms of mathematical chances to win the title. But he could really use a bit of bad luck for them and great luck for him. 2 more races on home soil then for Rashid Al-Daheri for the Mumbai Falcons racing team in the beautiful Yaz Heat colours. This is the first campaign that these colours have ever been on a Formula Regional car. And for Rashid Al Daheri, he's running out of chances to win at home, but he's still got 5 races left to take his first outright Formula Regional victory. There is Ganato Lee, the Japanese driver, Bruce to his mates, and great to see the Japanese talent for the ART Grand Prix team putting in a very strong performance over the course of this season, including a race victory earlier in the year, of course, in the reverse grid race at round 1. And there is the championship leader, Evan Gilter, third in yesterday's first race, looking good as the championship leader, 27 points, as we mentioned, ahead of Freddie Slater. All he has to do is stay consistent and strong in these 2 races, and he goes to Qatar with the championship lead. But can Freddie Slater do anything about that? Certainly one man who's not in the championship fight realistically, but still could get third in the championship, Yuga Chukwu, the young man for the McLaren Junior team and part of the RHGP squad, drove brilliantly yesterday to bag a second place finish, his 3rd podium of the season and his second place in a row. He took the victory in race 1 at Dubai, should have won race 3 here in round 2. Can he get a victory at Yas Marina? Freddie Slater has done that before. In fact, all 3 of his race victories have been on this configuration of the Yas Marina circuit. He loves the Grand Prix layout. He's in good position here and could take even more big points off his rivals. There's the Honda youngster, Taito Kato, the 3rd man in the ART Grand Prix squad, was really hoping for a little bit more from the races so far this weekend. But from 11th position on the grid, he's got very little to lose. 12th on the grid for the number 5, a very good performance indeed from the Australian talent Aaron Cameron. One of his strongest races of the season yesterday for Evans Grand Prix. Now the Australian former Bathurst 1000 racer has a chance to get himself up amongst the points on a regular basis. The 45 next up, the Jack Attack is back. Jack Beaton wanting to charge his way forward from 13th on the grid. The Prema sticker on the helmet, of course. The Mumbai Falcons are engineered by Prema. So it'll be interesting to see what the Aussie talent can do with his chief rival alongside him on the grid. There's the Japanese star, Jin Nakamura, who's got a very difficult race 3 ahead of him after not setting a lap time in Q2. But from 14th on the grid, he's going to have it very tough. And there is James Headley, the British talent who is still making waves in every car he ever gets the chance to get behind the wheel of. He needs a full-time campaign. Any of those blue chips who want a decent pair of heels in their car look no further than James Headley. There's the ever-improving American, Everett Stack, for the PHM Racing team. Has definitely come alive a bit in the last 2 weekends in terms of his qualifying pace. And there is the British Indian talent and former Junior TKM Festival winner in the world of British karting, Aditya Kulkarni. Very big talent indeed, this young lad. Hopefully there's a lot more to come from him as the season progresses. We're almost ready to start the 2nd race of the weekend. We are ready to start the formation lap then, as the drivers will get the command. The green lights go on the top of the gantry, the green flag flies, and the drivers will head around the course in order to warm up the tyres and brakes. For Akshay Bora and Nikita Bedrin, their best chance yet of a race victory, but they're not going to be the only ones with a chance to do so. There's a lot of opportunities to go for broke and go for the glory. This circuit, one of the most spectacular in the world since it opened for the first time in 2009. And what a battle we are set to see over the next 28 minutes plus the additional lap. It was a bit of a safety car fest yesterday in the opening race. Unusual so far this season in Formula Regional. They've usually had a fairly decent time of it with only one safety car at most. But Yesterday was a little bit more frenetic, I think because of the higher temperatures in general at the first point of the day, and also, of course, overnight, the winds had blown a lot of sand onto the circuit, so it made the track pretty tricky. The wind has been less overnight last night, and the temperatures are slightly warmer than they were 24 hours ago, so it should, on paper, make the circuit better in terms of grip, but the only drivers who are really going to know that for sure are the ones that are sat in the cockpit. Akshay Bora and Nikita Bedrin, front row of our starting grid from Ernesto Rivera and Enzo De Ligny in the second row of the starting grid. Row 3, it's going to be a competitive one. We've got Brando Badoa alongside Rashid Al-Daheri on home turf, then Kanato Lee and Evan Gilter, the ART Grand Prix teammates. Ninth on the grid, it's Yugo Ugochukwu and the man who won yesterday, Freddie Slater, P10. Then Taito Kato, 11th, alongside Aaron Cameron, the Australian, going off P12. Next up in the mix, it's going to be Jack Beaton alongside Jin Nakamura, and then we have James Headley from Great Britain alongside America's Everett Stack. 17th on the grid for Aditya Kulkarni, he's going to be going wheel to wheel with Luru Che into the first corner, and then it is Yaroslav Vezalaho alongside Japan's Hiyu Yamakoshi. 21st on the grid for Alex Sawyer of Vietnam, he'll be alongside Wang Shengwei, and then the drivers who really struggled yesterday to make an impression, Dorian Pan and Chu Yan Pu, the two Mercedes F1 juniors who really had a tough time of it in race number 1. More comebacks are on the ready for Kai Darianani, Britain's Finley Green, and Italy's Matteo De Palo. So some good opportunities then, as the competitors are going to want to put on a really fast run to that first corner. A lot of overtaking is likely in this race, as it tends to happen in the reverse grid races. Will the leader going into the first corner still have the opportunity, 28 minutes plus the additional lap later, to be in first position? This is such a competitive race battle. You never know for sure who's going to have it best. All the drivers warm the tyres and brakes to perfection. Then Freddie Slater getting himself ready to line up in P10 as Akshay Bora takes his position in pole. The big question now for the RHGP star is, can he sustain this for the entirety of the race? His brother Nikhil was a winner in Formula Regional in the past. Now he's got a chance to emulate him and rewrite his own history. Alongside him, Nikita Bedrin for Santalok, Ernesto Rivera, the Red Bull youngster, third on the grid. Enzo De Ligny, very threatening in the RHGP car from fourth. And don't forget the drivers that have been stars all the way through the season. Evan Gilter going off 8th, Yugo Ugochukwu going off 9th, Freddie Slater, yesterday's winner, going off P10. Lots of big opportunities in the offing for the contenders. So the last couple of cars are in position. The green flag will fly at the back of the field, which it does now. And when the lights come on and then go out, we'll be racing for the second time. Let's race at Yas Marina once again. And it's a good start from Akshay Bora. He chops right across on Nikita Bedrin. Rivera's got a reasonable launch, but it's a great start for Brando Badoa. He's cut straight through into fourth position. Rashid Al-Daheri having to be a little bit more defensive through the first corner, as a couple of drivers going side by side that look like the fast starting Kanato Lee trying to take him on. But it's a perfect launch for Bora, as Nikita Bedrin is already hunting him down towards the W Hotel for the first time. And well done to Akshay Bora. He parks his car in the middle of the road. There's a little bit of contact. That's De Ligny going wheel to wheel with Brando Badoa, and De Ligny goes off the road, manages to recover, but that was very close indeed for De Ligny and Badoa, who bang wheels in the W Hotel. They both get away with it. De Ligny having lost some places. Bedrin goes wide on the penultimate run to the Formula 1 straight, but so far so good. And out in front, it is the euphoric Akshay Bora, who has been able to give us a really strong run. Slight issues there with the camera on the run down the Formula 1 straight, unfortunately. Hopefully that'll get reset in time for the next lap. But it's certainly been a very tricky run for Akshay Bora out in the front position. There he is, leading the way still from Nikita Bedrin. Then Ernesto Rivera running in third position, the Red Bull Junior. Down to the hairpin, Rivera having a little look on the inside of Bedrin on the opening lap already, and as they go down the back straight, we'll see our first few big moves, as there is Yugo Ugochukwu battling away with Rashid Al-Daheri, and that's a problem for the 15. That's Aditya Kulkarni. He's got a puncture on the left front, so Aditya Kulkarni is going to pull off the road and retire. Very unfortunate indeed. Safety car, safety car. There's a double yellow flag at turn 14, so I think Kulkarni was limping away from the scene of the incident, but there is an incident at the hotel. So So it looks to me as though that's just out of sight of our cameras, unfortunately. So we've got two cars maybe, or one car there in dire straits. So we've got a double waved yellow at the 14. So a big difficulty for our contenders, but it looks as though Aaron Cameron, Jack Beaton, James Headley and Aditya Kulkarni were all involved in that one. How many cars are actually going to come around at the end of the lap? So into the pits comes Jack Beaton. So Beaton's come through in the pits with me, and so too has Yaroslav Veselaho in the Santa Lock. But it looks as though Cameron and Headley have not come around, and nor has Aditya Kulkarni. Ah, there is the number 5, so there is Aaron Cameron. But we still don't have James Headley, and we know that his teammate Aditya Kulkarni has already pulled off. So I'm afraid it's a very short race indeed for the Axel GP squad, as they don't even make it through the first lap. Both cars eliminated, as Yaroslav Veselaho is in the pits with damage. There is Aaron Cameron coming into the pit lane as well for the Evans Grand Prix team, so it's a busy pit lane. But I'm afraid the Axel GP interest in this race has already gone. Evans Grand Prix already changing a tyre there on the right front for Aaron Cameron, in the hope that they can get him back out onto the circuit again without losing a lap. That's the key element. You cannot afford to lose a lap in this series, because you will not have the chance to get it back again. And they're going past the scene of where the double yellow flag is, but as you can see, it's just out of range of our cameras. So unfortunately we can't see where James Headley's car is parked, but it looks to me as though there's been an interesting incident on the first lap out of shot of our cameras that's involved Beaton, Cameron, Veselaho, Headley and Kulkarni. I wonder if it was one or two drivers hitting each other and then a bit of a concertina effect as it gets very tight in that section. Yaroslav Veselaho's gone back out onto the circuit. I noticed that Jack Beaton and Aaron Cameron have not. So the two Australians are still sat in pit road, and the two Axel GP cars are out of the race. Right, Cameron's going back out onto the circuit. Let's see if we can see a replay. This is the aftermath as Kulkarni pulls off onto the turn 1 outfield. And yeah, we couldn't see anything else, unfortunately, but so it looks as though there's been 3 or 4 cars involved. So it'll be a difficult situation for the contenders. But we'll see how it all continues as Akshay Bora leads the field around under safety car from Bedrin, Rivera, Brandon Badua, Kanato Lee and Evan Shieldshair has gone up into 6th position off the start. Here is the replay of the start, or I thought we were going to see a replay of the start, but Jack Beaton sadly has climbed out of the Mumbai Falcon, and that's game over for the Australian. Very unfortunate indeed for Jack Beaton. You can see there he's got some fair damage to the left front tyre. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. I mean, I know it's an old tyre, but even so, it's not in a good condition for racing, so he's clearly had an incident on that first lap. Safety car still out on the course. It's rather an awkward position for James Headley's car to be recovered. So, really difficult situation then for the contenders. But they're obviously behind the safety car once again, trying to keep the tyres and brakes warm, ready for the restart. Akshay Bora leads the way then, Nikita Bedrin second, Ernesto Rivera third from Brandon Badua, Ganato Lee, then Evan Shieldshair, Otto Deligny and Freddie Slater, who is currently in 8th position in front of Yugo Gachukwu. Then it's Taito Kato, Jin Nakamura, Rashid Al-Aheli's had a terrible start, all the way down to 12th position for the Emirati. Not a good start indeed for him. Liu Che in front of Everett Stack, who's really made good advantage of things. Hiyu Yamakoshi in 15th. Up to 16th has come Dorian Pain. So she's made a spectacular start. Excellent work for the French driver. Here's a replay of the start. You can see there initially Rashid Al-Aheri's made a reasonable start. I wonder if he made contact there and it's caused a little bit of a concertina effect in the field, because he lost a lot of time after the initial launch. See, on this start everything is clean as a whistle, and then of course Aditya Kulkarni brings the car to a stop. Now interestingly, there is an incident under investigation, and it is between Rashid Al-Aheri and Aditya Kulkarni. So I wonder if that's the reason why Rashid Al-Aheri lost all those positions. It certainly looks that way at the moment. There is the RHGP pit wall, trying to keep an eye on their man Akshay Bora in the hope that he manages to keep it nice and calm going into the next race. Next start, I should say. The safety car should be peeling in at the end of this lap, so we'll double check, but the clean-up job looks to be relatively done from what we can gather. It's obviously going to be a tricky one for a couple of the drivers to get back into race position. Yaroslav Veselaho has caught up to the rest of the field. I'm not entirely sure that Aaron Cameron has. So we're about to find out whether we're going racing this time. Yes, safety car in at the end of this lap. The lights are out already. So Akshay Bora will back up the pack a little bit. They have started doing this very late in the day now to try and stop all of the concertina effects that we see in previous races and to try and tighten the field up a little bit. So Akshay Bora will now get his chance to charge away. Into the pits comes the safety car, and watch for Akshay Bora on the restart. Will he be into the lead as they cross the line? Certainly looking good for the moment, and it's green, 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 green for Akshay Bora, who leads the field around on this first start. Excellent run then for Akshay Bora. No problems at all in front of Bedrin and Rivera. Fourth place for Brandon Badura, and it's going to be side by side between Kanato Lee and Evan Shilter as into the pits comes Chuyan Pu, the Chinese driver, at the end of the outlap on going into the race lap again. And Brandon Badura's got ahead of Rivera, and he's already charging after Nikita Bedrin. So Brandon Badura is really on the charge. Excellent work from the Italian so far, as now Rivera's got to go defensive on Evan Shilter, who's up into 5th position. There is Chuyan Pu and the Pinnacle crew. They're changing tyres, so something's gone wrong for Chuyan Pu on the way back into the race, and on the race restart, that is the worst timing to have to come into the pits, because now the whole field has gone. So Bora, Bedrin, Rivera, no longer in 3rd position, of course, because Brandon Badua's got ahead of him. So Brandon Badua now chasing after them. And on the inside line, that's going to be a charge from Jin Nakamura to try and take on, guess who? Taito Kato. Yet again, it's the Honda Junior versus the Toyota Junior. They've been glued together since the start of the season, pretty much, and they're going at it once again. So Akshay Bora has half a second on Nikita Bedrin. He's rather hoping that Brandon Badua is going to make his bid early, as Deligny has a look at Kanato Lee. Kanato Lee's going to have to go defensive off the turn. He does indeed. Also, Deligny is going to be attacking him as they work their magic again. Down the back straight. Akshay Bora still leading, but it looks like Brandon Badua could get a run here on Nikita Bedrin. Going to get the chance up the inside. Bedrin's going to go defensive in the Santa lock, as we expected him to do. Deligny's on the inside of Kanato Lee. Will that be enough? Oh no, it's Evan Shilter, my apologies. Shilter has not got ahead of Kanato Lee just yet. I thought he managed to in the W Hotel section, but he didn't quite make it. So through they go, still making an interesting race of it. But it's going to be tricky now to see if there's going to be a run off the turn, as into the pits comes Finley Green. I've never known so many cars come into the pits in a Formula Regional race. So now we've got Finley Green coming in, having seen Veselaho, Cameron, Green, Chu, Beaton, and Aditya Kulkarni. Oh, sorry, Kulkarni didn't make it to the pits, but certainly should have done. As into the runoff area goes one of the ART Grand Prix cars. Was that Shilter making a mistake there? I think it might have been. Squeezed out on the far side, not able to get through the corner. So Bora leads Bedrin, Badua, Rivera, Kanato Lee, and now Evan Shilter has run off the road and has dropped in right in front of Freddie Slater. Also Deligny got ahead of him. So Deligny is up into 6th place. Shilter now going to have to struggle with his championship rival Freddie Slater, with Yugo Mugachukwu right behind them, and the battling pair of Japanese novices, Kato and Nakamura for Honda and Toyota. Excellent run again. They continue to work their way down to the hairpin. Let's see if there's going to be a move. A little bit of a look there from Kanato Lee to hustle in on Ernesto Rivera. But out in front, it is still Akshay Bora, keeping ice cool in the lead of the race. Let's just keep it together. You've got another 16 and a half minutes of this, plus the additional lap, so technically it is about 20 minutes or so. Very tricky race this for Akshay Bora. Is up to the inside. Kanato Lee is threatening Ernesto Rivera. He's going to go very long on the brakes. Is there enough room on the inside? No, but he changes tack. He decides to go slow in, fast out, and that could be a chance now for Kanato Lee to take on the move. So Kanato Lee looking for the gap on Ernesto Rivera. He's up against the pit wall nearly on the far side, up against the Armco, sorry. And now Kanato Lee He's going to try and go long round the far side of Ernesto Rivera. Has he got what it takes to keep his foot in? Oh my word, he has! Finley Green looked like he was getting out of the car. Now it looks like he's getting back in it again. But did Kanato Lee hold it? Yes, he did! Oh my word! What an overtake round the outside into the first corner. Absolutely incredible from Kanato Lee. He gets the job done on Ernesto Rivera with very little grip on the outside of that hairpin and makes the move. I tell you what, we really have got our very own Bruce Lee. Kanato Lee, excellent work. So now Freddie Slater is not really challenging Evan Shields here. If anything, he's struggling to keep Yugo Chukwu at bay. So excellent performance. So let's see if it is going to be a wonderful charge forward now from the championship contenders. Slater was in front of Schilter at the end of the lap there. I think it was actually Slater overshooting the chicane at the end of the straight, and then he had to give the place back to Schilter. So that's how that happened. So we did see a Mumbai Falcon off at the end of the straight. Now Yugo Chukwu is lining up Slater. This could be a really interesting battle down the back straight. Slater's going to have to work very defensively to shake off Yugo Chukwu by the time they get to the braking zone, and we know how good Yugo Chukwu can be on the brakes. Down to the chicane. No moves yet, nobody quite close enough to make the slam dunk manoeuvre, although Rashid Al-Aheri thinks otherwise. He gets the move on Taito Kato. So good overtake there from Rashid Al-Aheri as he moves up past Taito Kato back into a decent points paying position, and now we get to see whether he can take on Jin Nakamura. Meanwhile, Hirayama Koshi, the other Japanese driver in this race, gets past Taito Kato as well. So excellent work as he continues to make light of the situation. Another great run there from Taito Kato, but it's not enough to keep Hirayama Koshi behind him. Yamakoshi gets through. He's been given a warning for track limits there. I'm not entirely surprised because he's been really stretching the limits of this car. So far, so good. Just a bit of there, the Red Bull youngster in the pinnacle. Still trying to stay clear of Enzo Deligny and Evan Schilter, the two Frenchmen. A little bit of a bobble there from Taito Kato, who's on the crest of points. He's just lost the points paying position though to Hiro Yamakoshi in the pinnacle. So it's going to be an interesting one to see how it continues to balance out. We'll see how it all continues to progress. We'll see how it runs in close proximity. Akshibora, Nikita Bedrin, Brandon Madoa and Kanato Lee, then Ernesto Rivera, Enzo Deligny, Evan Schilter, Freddie Slater, and then Yugo Chukwu. To the inside line, that is Jin Nakamura starting to get close to his teammate there, Yugo Chukwu. It becomes a bit of a concertina effect without too many decent manoeuvres. So I would suspect that it's going to become pretty tight-fisted between them as they work through. So Bora, Bedrin is not closing up on Akshay Bora, and interestingly, Brandon Madoa seems to have run out of puff with this set of tyres. He's not really getting closer to Bedrin, he's actually falling back a little bit. I wonder if he's just looking after tyres in this phase of the race, and then in another 5-6 minutes time he might have a bit more life left in him to go for second position later on. This is exactly what Akshay Bora needs. Absolutely sensational. So let's see if it's going to continue. So let's see if Akshay Bora, Nikita Bedrin and Brandon Madoa continue on their way at the sharp end of the field. Kanato Lee P4 from Rivera, then Deligny, Schilter, Slater, Yugo Chukwu, Nakamura, Al-Aheri and Yamakoshi. That's the points paying positions at the moment. Then Taito Kato from Liu Che, Everett Stack, Alex Sawyer, Matteo De Palo and Dorian Pin. Then Kai Dadianani, Yaroslav Zalaho, Wong Sheng-wei and Aaron Cameron. And then Chu Yan-pu is the only other runner in the race, because we've had retirements for Finley Green, Jack Beaton, James Headley and Aditya Kulkarni. Up the crest once again. Nikita Bedrin charging after Akshay Bora. Really interesting to see if Bedrin has got any more tyres left to go after Akshay Bora. How much grip can he find over the last part of the race? Get himself back up to position once again. And Then down the straight they will go once more to close up on the braking zone again. Watch out for the Deligny-Gilter battle. Is that Gilter now in front of Deligny? In fact, no, it's not. My apologies. It's still Slater trying to make the ground on Gilter. Deligny lining up Rivera. Not close enough yet for the manoeuvre. Slater getting very close to the back of Gilter in the braking zone. So the two championship contenders find themselves in the lower end of the top 10, really struggling to make progress. So more battles to come, and for Gilter this is going to be a race of damage limitation, but finishing in front of Freddie Slater is going to be key for him. He doesn't have to score big points. As long as he scores more than Freddie, that's perfectly acceptable for the Frenchman. Freddie is going to want to fight back. If he can look after the tyres a little bit more in the latter stages of these next 5 minutes, then he might have a car that's strong enough to go for Evan Gilter and take the position away from him. But watch for Yugobuga Chukwu behind as well. The American has very little to lose here, because he's not really in contention for the championship after the bad luck of the first 2 weekends. So let's see if there's something more to come from the contenders. Once again, through to the right-hander, onto the home straight of the Formula 1 grid. So are we going to get to see a charge forward now from Slater, closing up again on Gilter? I can tell you that Finlay Green's actually not retired from the race. He's gone back out onto the circuit again, although he has lost several laps in doing so. So Finlay Green is back into the race. He's about 5 laps down from everybody else, but for him, he may as well go out there and set some laps, get a bit more experience under his belt. Why not? A little bit of a look there from Deligny to try and hustle Ernesto Rivera. That gives him a little bit of a hint, but so far so good. Down to the end of the back straight to see if there's an opportunity. So Bora leads, Bedrin second, Badua third, Canato lead. Then it's these two battling for 5th position. Deligny not quite close enough to Rivera, although he gets very close in the braking zone. He's trying to hoodwink the Red Bull youngster from Mexico in the hope that he can find his move, but he's not quite able to do it just yet. So let's see if there's another opportunity. Interesting charge forward. On the far side of the course, Bora still leading from Bedrin. He's looking good on terms of tyre life as well. Bora is staying very consistent to Bedrin's sector pace as into the pits comes Wang Shongwei. So yet another pit stopper. I make that 7 drivers that have come into the pits during this race at some point. I think it might actually be 6. I think I'm wrong immediately. Yes, it is 6 drivers that have come into the pits at some point. That's definitely a record for 2025, and not a record anybody wants to be part of. We've had Beaton, Green, Chu, Wong, Cameron and Vesalaho have all made pit stops in this race. Still, the battles rage out on the circuit. 8 minutes to go, and Akshay Bora just controlling the pace in front of Nikita Bedrin. And all he has to do is keep the car on the straight and narrow, just concentrate, just focus on his objectives. He's doing a great job, Akshay Bora. A lot of drivers in a similar position might have gone off the boil, might have overcooked the tyres, but the RHGP driver has been so smooth through this race, and that is how you win races. 7.5 minutes again on Deligny, just trying to find that little bit of extra grip through that hairpin as into the pits to retire comes Wang Shongwei in the Origin. That's very disappointing indeed for the Chinese driver. So game over for him. Right, now Rivera really feels the pressure of Enzo Deligny, and behind we've got the championship leaders going wheel to wheel as well. Deligny's going to go far side, Rivera slides, they go off the road together. And so it's going to be Deligny that puts his nose slightly in front. Does he feel like he's got the move done? Well, certainly Rivera is going to stay with him side by side. Meanwhile, Gilter and Slater are going to battle as well. Deligny tries to hold the car around the far side. Can Rivera hold it to the inside line and keep his position? Deligny still keeping his foot in. They are still side by side. They've been side by side for the majority of the last sector. And finally Rivera finishes the job, and now Deligny comes back in on him. So Deligny gets the move after all. Wow, that's going to be an interesting one. And Gilter sliding on the inside of Slater to keep the position for the time being. So there's great battles everywhere you look. Track limits, second warning for the number 1, Alonso Deligny, and there's a black and white warning flag now for Aaron Cameron for exceeding track limits. So the man who's trying to recover after his earlier visit to the pits has got to be careful. But now we've got Nikita Bedrin chipping away at Akshay Bora's position. So chipping away little by little. He's slowly starting to get that gap down. And this is where Akshay Bora's really got to focus. He's really got to concentrate. Fastest lap of the race is Enzo Deligny now on a 1 minute 50.81. But that is the lap in where he and both Ernesto Rivera went off the road together. So I don't actually think that those laps are legitimate laps. Both of them actually put in the fastest 2 laps of the race so far, and that's because they missed a section of the course. So I think it's going to be one of those Ayrton Senna style moments when he set the fastest lap in the European Grand Prix of 1993 during a pit stop lap, because in those days they didn't have speed limits in the pits, so he actually took a faster route because he didn't stop in the pits, he just drove through it. Very tight stuff at the moment, as again Brando Badua is under pressure, this time from Kanato Lee. So there's a battle for the lead, a battle for 3rd, a battle for 5th, and a battle for 7th. It's 2 by 2 hurrah all the way. Here's Kanato Lee trying to go for the podium on Brando Badua. Can he take the move on the PHM? Meanwhile, still squabbling. Deligny versus Rivera, and there's still a mighty battle going on between Gilter and Slater. Which battle do you look at? Which one's going to get the more intense? So very tricky at the moment to judge who's going to get the best of this. I think this one's going to get interesting though, because Slater's got ahead of Gilter. So Freddie Slater now in front of Evan Gilter, should take a couple of points off him as a result. So that keeps Freddie Slater in the game a little bit closer to it. Getting the championship points lead down is what Freddie Slater needs to do as much as possible. So Slater is going very well indeed to get in front of Evan Gilter. But this race isn't over. Bedrin really charging after Akshay Bora with 4 minutes to go. Bora's got to push. Kanato Lee is pushing to get Brando Badua overtaken. And now Rivera's coming back at Enzo Deligny once again. So many fans on the edge of their seats at the moment as Bora faces the pressure from Bedrin. Lee is putting Brando Badua under intense scrutiny. Rivera is hustling Enzo Deligny. And now Slater's got the move on Evan Gilter in the battle for the championship. That's an important one. Down the back straight, we could see a couple of overtaking moves this time. And look, Akshay Bora is trying to shake off Nikita Bedrin. Focus, be careful, don't push too hard. You don't want to go too far over the apron. Meanwhile, Brando Badua has got the biggest chance yet from Kanato Lee. Lee is going to try and dive to the inside, Badua's there to cover him. So Kanato Lee's going to try and go long. Can he cut back in and get a faster exit from the final turn than Brando Badua, who has to take a more defensive stance? This could be a chance for Kanato Lee. We know how fast he can be round the outside. He's done it already once on Enzo Deligny. Can he do it again on Brando Badua? Side by side. Kanato, you've already done this once. Can you do it again? He backs down this time. Waits for Badua to take the lead in it, and then he can come back with a better line towards 3rd position. Great racing so far. But Kanato Lee hunting for that podium position. He really wants to take one off of Brando Badua. He always seems to go well in the reverse grid races. He got a victory earlier this year, don't forget, in a reverse grid race. So this is going to be a really tricky situation for Kanato Lee. He wants to make the overtake, but he also doesn't want to overcook the car in the process. You've got to make these tyres go all the way to the end. So other than the one safety car we got at the start, it's been pretty clean as a whistle. Bedrin is still hustling to try and get ahead of Akshay Bora for the lead of the race, but Akshay Bora is not overdriving the car. He's keeping himself cool and calm. Can the RHGP driver hang on for the victory? Akshay Bora just trying to keep it nice and tidy. This is going to be such a difficult race for him to win, but it will mean so much if he can stay in front of Nikita Bedrin. He's had a miserable weekend, he's had a miserable season by his standards. He would have liked a lot more from it so far, but here he is, still trying to deal with Nikita Bedrin in the Santa Lock. When they come across the line this time, they'll have 2 laps to go. Don't think Bedrin's going to go for the manoeuvre into the chicane this time. So should be okay for Akshay Bora. Lee is not close enough to Badua yet to go for the move into 3rd position. Bora and Bedrin go past my position, and they're doing okay. Similar now as Badua and Lee pass my commentary box position now. So it's all going to be a tough one to see if there's going to be a big move from Kanato Lee. Has Brando Badua left the door too wide open? He's got to move. He does. Kanato Lee's coming from the far side. He's got to keep his car to the right of the PHM in the hope that there's going to be some more grip to find. Deligny has now managed to pull 7/10 of a second on Rivera, and Slater's getting close to the Red Bull youngster as well, so watch out for that in the last couple of laps. Slater could get into the top 6. Badu is having to defend. Big start from Kanato Lee, but he moves across the line to cover Kanato on the inside line. Bora still from Bedrin, no change. Badua sliding around, trying to keep Kanato Lee behind. The more you have to come off the racing line to defend your position, the more that the tyres are going to get worn. Be so careful. So let's see if they are going to continue this battle to the death. Badua, Lee, Deligny closing up on the two of them now. Also Deligny could have a chance of a podium here. So far so good for Akshay Bora, as the time is going to tick down to 0 as they approach the final straight. Akshay Bora just keeping it calm. Keep it together, Akshay. You're a smart lad. You can stay focused. You can do this. The first win in Formula Regional could open the corks of the bottle and really give you an amazing 2025 season. You've just got to stay focused. Nikita Bedrin is beatable. You're on top of it for the moment. You've got a gap. Just keep it. Time has run down to 0. Into the chicane. Perfect line from Bora. As side by side, Badua versus Kanato Lee. Lee still can't quite find a way past the McLaren Junior. Brandon Badua is doing everything he can to shake off Kanato Lee, and Kanato Lee will try again. Here he goes. Side by side off the turn. And Kanato Lee is going to go wheel to wheel with Brandon Badua. He'll pull a wheel in front, but is that going to be enough to get into 3rd position? Now they're on the last lap. They are not going to change positions. Badua holds it to the inside line. Last lap. Bora's just got to stay calm. Bora holding on in front of Bedrin. Badua holding on in front of Kanato Lee into the hotel. Right, through the left, watch for Onso Deligny. He's getting really close to Badua and Lee as well. He might have a chance of something to get past at least one of them. Running through again. Kanato Lee looking really hungry on PHM. And it looks as though, hang on a minute, where's Evan Schilter? Schilter's come off the road. Schilter's gone. We didn't see what happened to Evan Schilter, but Schilter has dropped out of the points. So I'm not sure what's happened to Evan Schilter, but he is no longer circulating. Well, disaster for Evan Schilter. He looks like he's come off the road somewhere. I can't quite make out where it is, but Evan Schilter is out of the race. So he must have had an incident, and that's going to mean even more points gained by Freddie Slater going into the 3rd race of the weekend. But down to the final chicane, Akshay Bora just needs to stay calm on Nikita Bedrin. He's swarming around trying to make sure that he doesn't get the move. Down to the braking zone. Careful, don't do anything you don't have to. Bedrin is going to try and slam dunk it, but he's not going to get the chance. Akshay Bora has done everything he needed to do to defend. Bedrin is going to try. He'll get close, but not close enough. Akshay Bora takes his first win in Formula Regional. Cool as a cucumber. Akshay Bora gets it done from Bedrin in 2nd and Brando Badua in 3rd. Wonderful stuff. Absolutely sensational. And a fantastic position. Well, hang on a minute. Evan Schilter now, it looks as though he's crossed the line somewhere down the road. The timing screen doesn't quite know what to make of where Evan Schilter is, so we'll try and confirm it later. I don't know quite what's happened there. He must have had a transponder issue. Well, very interesting, very strange scenario. We'll try and figure out what's happened and where he's finished. Let's see as the drivers have come through here. So where is Evan Schilter? There he is. So that is the 95. Well, I don't quite know what's happened there, so we'll try and confirm where he's finished a bit later. It's clearly an electronics issue, but Evan Schilter, the transponder appears to have had a little bit of a Harry-Carry moment. So problems then for Evan Schilter that are completely out of his control, but it does look like he finished the race in the points. But what a coming-of-age moment for Akshay Bora. His first victory in Formula Regional, the Euro 4 champion from last year, don't forget, and utterly deserving his success and his victory. He has been such a hard worker these last few years. I've known him and his brother Nikhil for quite a long time now, through their karting days, through their F4 graduations, and into the world of Formula Regional. His brother was a winner in Formula Regional, Nikhil Bora, very big talent himself. And now Akshay Bora continues the journey, adding to his Euro 4 championship campaign last year, where he took the title after a magnificent second half of 2024. And now he is going to be, in magnificent fashion, a race victor in Formula Regional. And with a driver like Akshay Bora, who needs validation at times that he is good enough to do this, everyone else knows he's good enough, sometimes he needs to tell it to himself. With a race like that, when you've got Nikita Bedrin, an FIA Formula 3 driver, raining down all sorts of pressure throughout the course of the entire race, and Akshay Bora did not crumble at any point, that's going to be a moment of galvanization. Hopefully that's going to open the floodgates for Akshay Bora. A lot more magnificent races will come his way. A lot more magnificent victories too. Wonderful, absolutely wonderful. So a sensational race, a very tough one indeed. Lots of good battles all the way through. Everybody kept it clean despite how intense it got. But what a performance as Brando Badua comes home in third position. Second place for Santalok's Nikita Bedrin. But the race winner, I am delighted to say, is Akshay Bora. So through to the first position, the RHGP team very happy to receive their boy, who's had a very tough season in the first 4 weekends. But now finally, Akshay Bora will climb his car, and what a jubilant man he is going to be after such a magnificent drive. You've done it, Akshay! Wonderful. His first win in Formula Regional. The rookie comes of age. Brilliant moment for Akshay Bora, and totally deserved. What a sensational drive of cool, calm collectedness. There is his father, Bunty. Wonderful job. And a very happy man, I'm sure. Brilliant moment. Akshay Bora takes the win, and rightly so. He also takes the rookie win, of course. Nikita Bedrin second, Brando Badua third. From Kanato Lee, Anzo Deligny, then Ernesto de Vera, Freddie Slater. Evan Schilte is eighth in the end. And then Rashid Adaheri in front of Yugo Ugachukwu. 11th place for Hiyu Yamakoshi. And the final points paying position goes the way of Jin Nakamura. Taito Kato 13th in front of Lulu Che. And then Everett Stack in front of Matteo De Palo. Kai Dadianali in front of Alex Sawyer. Then Aaron Cameron, Dorian Ba, Yaroslav Vezalaho and Chu Yanpu. The last finisher, albeit several laps down, was Finley Green. And then Wang Shongwei, Jack Beaton, Aditya Kulkarni and James Headley were all retirements. It's a brilliant moment in the championship as we have a new winner, and a very deserving one indeed, Akshay Bora. Well, let's catch up with our top three from the second race of the weekend. Brando Badua, third position. Not bad in this race. It looked like tyre degradation was pretty tricky, especially when you were trying to keep Kanato Lee off your tail.
Yeah, definitely a good race. Started P5, managed to get on the podium. It's really important. Yeah, lately we've been struggling a bit. That's why it's even more a satisfaction, because it's important to get up there even when you're struggling. We try to maximize the results. I think today I did it pretty well so far. So yeah, the race was quite tough. I had a bit of tire degradation, a lot. And cars behind were pretty quick, so I had to defend on the last stages. But it went well, so I'm happy to jump on the podium.
I hope we get to see you be strong again in race 3 later. Good job.
I try to do my best, thank you.
Let's grab a word with the man in second position, Nikita Bedrin. Very tough race indeed for him, fighting for the victory all the way through. Nikita, that was a really tough race out there. The Santalok served you well. There just wasn't quite enough time to go for the victory in the end.
Yeah, we had a better pace at the end. Obviously, very happy with that. Just couldn't get close enough within that last half a second. It's really tricky with their TR here, but I'm really happy with the car that we had. I think we've done a good job, considering that I almost could go front and attack on the last lap. So it's a P2, but still we had a good pace. So that's the most important thing.
Looking forward to seeing what you can do with the third race. Great job.
Thank you.
Let's grab the man who's taken both the rookie victory and the overall victory, the latest winner in Formula Regional. Here in the Middle East Championship, Akshay Bora. That was such a tough race to command. It looked really tricky in the middle phase of the race in particular, but you managed to hold on to it. What was it like out there?
Yeah, launch was pretty good, and then the safety car kind of, hurt me a bit because I couldn't keep that gap ahead. But I had a good safety car restart as well. Just got into the rhythm, and then, yeah, last few laps were a bit dicey. Maybe I pushed a bit too hard at the start, but in the end it was a pretty clean one. So thanks to the team for the hard work. I mean, really showed out there the pace we had, and yeah, just grateful.
Hopefully this sets the ball rolling for the rest of 2025. Great job.
Thanks.
Right, folks, it's time for a podium ceremony, our second in Formula Regional Middle East Championship 2025 here this weekend for the second race, and a brilliant opportunity here at the Marina circuit to welcome some heroes to the podium. In third position for Italy, Brando Badua. A great run for the PHM racer, fantastic performance from him. In second position, Nikita Bedrin. Excellent run for the Santalok racer. Good to see him there in P2. But your race winner here today for the United States and India, Akshay Bora! A fantastic run for Akshay. A fantastic first victory. He takes the rookie victory as well. Brilliant stuff for Akshay Bora. Now it's my honor to invite Mr. Ong Mong Chai, who is the Deputy General Manager of GT Tyre Investment Company Limited. He will present the trophies once again here on the rostrum. Starting with the driver in third position for PHM Racing, Brando Badua. And in second position for Santalok Racing, Nikita Bedrin. And for the race victor for RHGP, both in the overall rankings and in the rookie trophy, Akshay Bora. Double trophy for Akshay Bora, who wins the rookie race and the race overall. Excellent result. All drivers, please look to the pit wall. That's where your pictures are being taken. The great second race of the weekend then, and a fantastic podium ceremony for our drivers. So for Brando Badua, for Nikita Bedrin, and for Akshay Bora, a time to celebrate in fine style as the drivers will celebrate with their team. I'm sure the bottles of spray will go over the wall rather than over each other. A nice quiet drink, as everybody has another race to come, of course. But they will spray a little by the look of it. So let's get busy with the fizzy. A big celebration for Akshay Bora, who takes his first victory of the season overall in Formula Regional Middle East. What a great way to start the ball rolling here at Yas Marina. We've got the F4 Middle East Championship second race coming up very shortly, but what a great way to start the day here in Yas Marina. A new winner in the Formula Regional Middle East Championship. His name, Akshay Bora. See you in a bit.